I know, a lot of folks are maybe here for the first time, kind of taking a look at who we are and what we're doing. And if you're newer to blockchain, I am as well. Really 2023 is when I got involved in blockchain. I had been involved in cryptocurrency for quite a while. 2013 is when I kind of started getting involved a little bit in Bitcoin. I read about it in 2010. I wish I would have gotten involved in 2010, but I wasn't tech savvy enough really to mess around with it. And so I started dealing with it a little bit. And then a friend of mine had me dealing with crypto trading software that actually went really well back in 2017, 2018. And that's when I was turned on to blockchain really the first time. He said, you've got to buy these nodes for this project called Gala Games. And I just remember, I said, what the heck's a node? I've never heard of that, And he goes, well, it's software. You put it on your computer and it will basically, this company will pay you to borrow your computer power. They're kind of using your computer to run their blockchain network. And I said, well, how much do they pay you? And he said, well, they give you these Gala tokens. I said, well, how much is a Gala token worth? And this was 2018. So he goes, well, right now, nothing. And I just said, well, this sounds amazing. You're going to borrow my computer, give me magic internet money that's not worth anything. I said, it sounds amazing for this gaming company, but not so great. And he said, listen, I'm going to hit mute all just real quick. Just to sounds like some new people are coming in. So anyone that, uses this software on their computer, they're basically getting magic internet money. He said, well, that's not worth anything. He said, well, it's not worth anything now. But he said, Tony, if people start playing these games, it could be worth a lot. And it's a long story. I'm not going to get in depth into it, but I needed to call him back to redo the transaction. I had bought $10,000 worth of nodes.
Okay.
Needed to basically call him back to finish up the transaction. And I forgot. I was just busy. And I have other businesses. I had a restaurant delivery service at that time called My Town to Go. My Town, the number 2 Go. We were an Inc. 500 company in 2020, so it was a pretty decent sized company. I was going through a lot of growth, and we were looking to merge with Delivery.com, which we did. And so I just was busy. I never called him. And about another year and a half after that, I'm looking at Facebook, and he starts posting about this gaming deal, Gala Games, and it hit me right away. I was like, uh-oh, I forgot to call my friend back, and finish this transaction. And so I messaged him and he's like, dude, we need to get on a Zoom. I was like, okay. I get on a Zoom and I was like, what's up with Gala? Like, what's up with this Gala Games deal? And he goes, Tony, there's millions of people playing these games. I was like, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, the nodes just generate these tokens, the magic internet money you said. And he goes, as long as your node is turned on 6 hours or more a day, it shares evenly in that day's distribution. And so I was like, this is, how many tokens have you got? He said, well, I started selling them over the last couple months. And I said, how much have you sold? And he said, a little over $40 million worth. And I was like, no way, like, get out of here. So I basically didn't believe him. And then he showed me. He pulls up his trading wallets and everything and starts showing everything. I was like, holy cow, he sold about $40 million worth, give or take. And I said, what about our buddy Wright? And he said, he's got like 4.3 billion. And then I asked him, this is probably what I shouldn't have asked him, but I said, how many tokens would I have if I would have remembered to call you back and given you that $10,000? He starts doing the math. He says, if you would have called me back and you sold all the tokens today, like all the tokens that your nodes had generated, you have a little over $11 million in tokens. And I was like, oh. What's probably even worse for me, if I would have called him back, this is now over 5 years ago, even today, I would be generating $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month in tokens from that project. So I was just trying to think, like, what was I so busy doing that I couldn't call my friend back? But it is what it is. I think we've all been, kind of right place, right time, and maybe didn't realize it or didn't take action on it. And I just chalked it up as that's it. It's one of those things. And so about a year and a half after that, almost 2 years after that, actually, it was probably, just 1 month shy of 2 years after that, I got a call from him and my buddy Wright, the guy that had made like $4 billion in the Gala project. And they said, hey, we want you to help us with our blockchain projects. We want you to drive revenue through our blockchain projects. And I was like, busy. We had just started an accounting firm it's one of the biggest accounting firms in the world, actually. It's the largest tax credit accounting firm in the United States. And we have tens of thousands of clients, 10 plus $10 billion in tax credits that we've gotten filed, over $2 billion in profit just in a few years. Like, it didn't take us that long. So it's the biggest company we've ever started. So at that time, we had just gotten over like 1,000 employees and contractors that were working for us. And so I was really busy, and they were like, we need you to see what we're doing. And I said, well, listen, I'm busy, but I watched what they did with Gala. They had days where their market cap was higher than Tesla's back in 2021. So I'm sitting there going, okay, I don't know what you're doing, but I should probably take a look. And I met with them in Vegas, and they shared with me what they were doing. And I'll kind of wrap it up short and sweet, and I can demo this platform. But they were doing two things in blockchain that had never really been done. Number one, they were making it easy for anyone to get involved in blockchain. Most of the time, if you weren't really tech savvy, if you weren't, a coder or whatever, most people weren't setting up MetaMask wallets and bridging tokens to ERC20, so they could use the Ethereum network. Like, that's just not something grandma and grandpa are going to do. My mom's a great grandma. She's not going to do that stuff, but she can use a platform like this. And if she can pay with a credit card, which she can, and when she swipes the credit card money just goes in to buy the token out of the market. And then the community receives those tokens from my mom, basically. It's kind of seamless. She's just swiping her credit card. She doesn't care what happens after that, as long as she gets her meeting platform. And then the company, basically the community gets those tokens and gives my mom her meeting platform for the month. And so she's utilizing blockchain technology without really needing to understand blockchain technology. Similar to the internet, my mom doesn't know what HTML is or can't code. I guess neither can I, but both of us can, watch our shows on Amazon. We can watch ESPN Plus if the Pittsburgh Penguins aren't on that day in our local markets. We can get on a presentation like this using the internet, get on emails, pay our credit card bills, check our bank statements. Like, the entrepreneurs made the internet accessible to everyone. No one has done that yet in the blockchain space. That's coming very, very soon. It's here with our link already. So the platform you're on is based in blockchain. And the reason we chose this medium is there were three areas we felt like we could attack the video conferencing marketplace, in particular Zoom. Zoom is one of the biggest it is the biggest provider in video conferencing, but it's one of the bigger companies in the world. I mean, they are a $28 billion market cap. They have about 300 million users a day that are using their platform. And like, at my mom's basic level, we can save about $1 a month on the pricing. At the business level that I was at with Zoom, I save a little over $3,000 a year using our link versus using Zoom. And we're getting ready to launch a white label version where I could have my accounting firm with its own video conferencing platform, fully white label, like branded Jorns Tax. The company's called Jorns and Associates, but it's jornstax.com, JORNS tax.com. And so, like, our logo, instead of that R, the Rally logo at the top left that you see for our link, it would be the Jorns logo. The color scheme would be the Jorns Tax color scheme. The address, instead of rally.r-link.com/free, it would be rally.jornstax.com/Tony. That's probably going to be my room name for Jorns. And so I could have my own branded solution. I would still save about $2,000 a year over using Zoom, where I've now got an unbranded solution where I'm sending people to a third company. And if I can keep clients in our own brand, I think all of us that build businesses would choose to do so. And even sending them to our link, I'd rather send them to Jorns if I'm talking about Jorns Tax. I have a credit card processing company. I'll do a white label for them. If I'm talking about EPP, that's Elite Payment Partners. If I've got EPP, I'm like, hey, let's use our EPP video conferencing platform. It's not like OPP from Naughty by Nature, if you guys remember the rap group of the day. Most of you probably don't, which is probably for the best. But I know if I can keep people in my brand, it's better. And so we knew we could beat them on price. We knew we could beat them on presentation and conversion, and we knew we could beat them on the technology side because of blockchain. When some people go, hey, well, the price, like, I want to see the pricing. Well, I can pull up a website. Like right now, each one of you is in control of your own screen. So you can scroll down. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that the basic price is $15 per month. You'll see the business price is $50 per month. The white label's coming soon, but that'll probably be $100 a month, maybe a couple hundred. We'll kind of figure out the different bells and whistles. And if you need bigger meetings, we have add-ons. So if you say, well, I need, this does up to the business up to 1,000 people per meeting. If you say, well, I need up to 5,000, it's like, all right, we have add-ons that you'll be able to add in. We're in beta right now, but getting closer and closer to coming out. We even have our version 2 being built out. Kim Garst, our chief marketing officer, she's just a genius when it comes to customer experience, customer interaction. She was a Forbes magazine top internet entrepreneur, seven-figure online businesses she's built over the last several years. And she's got a vision of what video conferencing could be. And the only thing I can compare it to, because I've seen her vision, she coded it out for our developers to see, would be to like, look at a Tesla. And I don't own a Tesla, but I've driven a few of them, just rented them. Like I was in Denver the last time I rented one, and it drove for me. I never thought I'd allow a car to drive for me. I just didn't trust it or whatever. But I kind of, after a bit, I was like, you know what? I'll keep my eye on it. I'll keep my hand here. It drove better than me. It drove better about anybody. I mean, it was flawless. And I'm like, the big screen in the middle. I was like, man, hitting buttons to open doors. The door handles aren't sticking out of the car. They come in. I have a Range Rover that does that now. Like they used to not do that, but Elon Musk had a vision of what cars could be, and he started to build it. I don't agree with his every time. Like the Cybertruck looks weird as heck, but it's kind of, I guess you're not going to mistake it for another vehicle. Like I guess if you get a Cybertruck and you park it somewhere, it's easy to find. But I just think, man, it's kind of an ugly truck. I apologize if you got a Cybertruck, but you probably don't got it for the aesthetics. It's because it's a badass truck, and it can tow more than any regular, even diesel truck. Like it's a powerful truck. So he just had this vision, and Kim, for our platform, has a vision of what V2 could be like. And we have a lot of bells and whistles here. Like if somebody says, well, I want to do a presentation, we can share screen and go into a PowerPoint, or we can preload presentations and go into slideshows. We've got, disclaimers we can pull up. We've got, the summary of the disclaimers. What is our link? You can, I go back to disclaimer. You can screenshot this. We always tell people, hey, there's no guarantees. There's some forward-looking statements. But if I want to go through a slideshow, I can just go through it. If I'm done with the slideshow, I can just shut it down. I don't have to share my screen, pull up a PowerPoint, set it up on slideshow view, and then start doing our PowerPoint. I can preload slides. If somebody says, hey, this is, great, but our presentation has video in it, we can go right into video. With Zoom, I couldn't just play a video. I couldn't just talk over a video. Even if I paused it in Zoom. With Zoom, when you show a video, you have to change the audio setting from microphone to computer or no one can hear you. Then you have to wait usually 5 seconds for a YouTube ad and then skip it. And then you're showing the video. Here, I can pause it, obviously. I can fast forward, rewind. If I'm done with the video, I can just shut the video down. And so it's just a better mousetrap. And if somebody says, this is amazing, like, I want to buy it, we can pull up call to actions. And I want to show this to you real quick. I can create call to actions and just pull them up. Like this is the disclaimers. I can just pull them up, but I can pull up buttons that people can push on. I don't have a call to action in this setting. Maybe I can make one. I don't know if I've got my profile on or if Kim's on. Maybe she'll make one for me and I'll refresh it and see if it pops up. So we'll check. I'll keep an eye out for it. But oh yeah, there's a call to action. She just popped one up for me. So like real time during the meeting, boom, elements are finally here. Buy now. So if we say, hey, I love this. This sounds good. Great. Click buy now. We've done split testing. You can close and convert at about 80% higher when you can convert inside your platform versus saying, hey, I'm going to type a link in the chat. Everybody that's excited, click on it, scroll down halfway, then click sign up today, and then start entering your information. You can do that. That's not the end of the world. But if I say, hey, anyone that wants to get started, just click buy now. And we're actually coding out right now the affiliate tracker. Imagine this was a big, company that we sold peptides, and I was doing the event, and you invited a bunch of your friends on, and Kim invited a bunch of her friends on, and Patty and Herb invited friends on and family members. And then I said, hey, click buy now. Anyone that's interested in buying these peptides, click buy now. And one of your friends clicks buy now. Because you invited them to the meeting, we track that. You have your own custom invite link. If they click buy now, it routes them through you, so you get commission if you were in a company that was paying out affiliates. So we can track all of that. And our V2, I was shocked. I'm just telling you. I was like, this is already better than Zoom, like way better than Zoom. I can't do any of this stuff. If you're doing international business, click on tools. If you're on a computer, it's at the top right kind of area. You'll see like participants, tools, layout. If you click tools, click on AI captions. And if you do that, turn the AI captions on, and you'll start to see English popping up on your screen. It takes a second, but it'll pop in, and what I'm saying will be listed in English. And there's a pull down menu that says translate to English. If you click that pull down, you could change it to Arabic, Bulgarian, Catalan, Chinese, Czech, Danish, Dutch, English, Estonian, Finnish, Flemish, French, German. I mean, whatever you pick. I live in Puerto Rico most of the year. I'm in Kansas for the holidays. We have a house outside of Wichita. But if I click Spanish, it's going to go into Spanish. And so now, I'm seeing Spanish. Maybe someone else chose French. They're seeing French. And I've done a meeting. It wasn't that long ago. We had a gentleman in Brazil speaking very fast Portuguese. We had a guy in Ecuador speaking Spanish. I was speaking English, and we had a flawless meeting without a translator. It was just amazing. The guy in Brazil was speaking Portuguese. He'd ask a question. The guy would answer it in Spanish, and then I would have a follow-up question in English. And then the guy in Spanish would answer that one. And then the guy in Brazil would ask a second question in Portuguese. And it was just amazing. And being able to understand is one thing. We're building out the tech and working on the tech to do verbal. Imagine real time. If you chose Chinese, you would be hearing my voice speak perfect Chinese Mandarin, let's say you chose, and my lips would match like I was speaking Mandarin. And if someone else chose French, at the same exact time you're hearing and seeing me speak Chinese, they would be hearing and seeing me speak French. And I just, I speak a little Spanish, but maybe I'm never going to have to really use it, because this platform, the AI will just speak Spanish for me, and French and Chinese and Japanese and whatever country we're expanding into. So there's just so many more advantages to using this platform. Price, presentation, conversion. We hammer Zoom in those areas. But where we really win, and probably the biggest area, is going to be technology. Blockchain technology gives us massive, massive advantages because you own this. The user base owns the platform. There's no Mark Zuckerberg that's stealing all your data or whatever. Like, it's just us. We're the builders. We own the platform. We own our data. That's probably the most important thing, because we can monetize our data eventually. When we come out of beta, we'll start letting people make money if they want to share their data. We have so many opportunities that I think most of the world doesn't even realize are going to be available. I think all of us have kind of conceded to the fact that Mark Zuckerberg has been listening to me this whole time. And again, maybe Google's listening too, and Jeff Bezos at Amazon. And it's weird. I think all of us have, we've been talking about, we're going to do a trip to Disney World. My friend's going to Disney World. And then all of a sudden you start getting ads on your Facebook that are like, hey, flights to Orlando discounted. It's like, how did they know I was wanting to maybe go to Orlando? It's like, well, they know, because they're always listening. And that's just life. Our lives don't change when something like that happens. We're just like, and I actually don't mind targeted ads. I'd rather see ads for watches and pickleball paddles than dresses and high heels. But if I had a choice that I could continue to let Mark Zuckerberg make billions of dollars off of all of our data, or we could all make a few hundred or a few $1,000s a year off of all of our data, I think the 5.5 billion people that are online around the world would choose for them to make a little bit of that money versus zero. And I think they would probably choose to own and control all of their own data. That's what our link allows. Zoom, back in March through August of 2023, was sharing everyone's data with their AI. And people got upset about it. It was a big deal. You can Google it and check it out. But what were you going to do if you were upset? You could go to Microsoft Teams. You could go to Google Meet. Those guys are better at mining data than Zoom is. And so it was like there was no safe place to run to. We're the first option, the first opportunity for a consumer to go, you know what? I'm about sick and tired of these companies, these huge conglomerates, grabbing my data and shipping it to China every single day that I'm on their platform. We can stop it right now. And not only that, because it's blockchain based, we can reward all of us that are using it. You can earn cryptocurrency for using and sharing your platform with others. I knew Zoom was never going to reward me for bringing people into Zooms or sharing their software with other people. And if you give me an opportunity to get rewarded for something that I was already doing and getting nothing for, I will take the reward. Like, just give it to me. And so we get that cryptocurrency, and you can right now turn that coin, you get a token, it's called a rally token. You can turn it into dollars right now if you want to. There's a lot of people that do it. We're in beta, so it's not like we're trading aggressively or anything like that. But the rally token, just today, it's got about $82,000, $83,000 in volume, meaning somebody decided to sell, a group of people or a bunch of people decided to sell about 82 grand worth today. And there's buyers. There's a lot of buyers. Actually, on the buy side liquidity, if you look through the dexes, you can find probably $7-8 million willing to buy rally tokens right now. There's just not many people willing to sell them. And so until we come out of beta, there probably won't be many people willing to sell. So it'll be tough to buy. But what's great is our community has launched some different softwares that allow people to acquire tokens. There's no ICO here. This is what we call a fair launch. So what I love about our project probably the most is guys and gals like us can move the needle. I'm not like Elon Musk. It'd be amazing if I was that smart, but I can't tweet about Dogecoin and make it go up. He can. I can't tweet about any coin and make it go up. He can tweet about any coin and it would go up. So because I'm not that important, I was like, okay, if I get involved in Bitcoin, if I get involved in Ethereum, Solana, any of them, I just got to kind of pray that they go up. I hope I made a good decision. God willing, the price goes up and I'll make more money than I spent. Here, though, it ties revenue into the blockchain. So if every time somebody purchases the service, that money, let's say they get the $50 business package, $50 goes in to buy rally tokens. Let's say they get the $15 package, $15 goes in to buy the rally tokens. It would almost be like if Jeff Bezos said, listen, every time that you check out on Amazon, you have to buy Amazon stock. And then you send us the Amazon stock and we'll send you the belt that you bought or the hardback book that you bought, whatever it is. They don't do that. But if they did, the price of Amazon stock would skyrocket because the demand pressure, there'd be so many people trying to buy the stock and not enough people wanting to sell it at the current price. The price would go up until there were enough sellers to go, you know what? I'll sell at this price. And then you'd have yourself a new market price. They can't do that in a Web 2 environment. That is exactly what we do with our link in a Web 3 environment. All of the revenue comes in and it goes in to buy the token. And what that did for me is, in my opinion, all of us have the ability to stack the deck in our favor. Meaning I knew I couldn't tweet about this token and make it go up. I knew with my business background, I could probably add 1 million users onto a platform like this. Herb and Patty Cepeda have built teams of over 3 million people. Like, they can bring in more users than I can. That's great news for me. The more people they bring in, the more customers, the more revenue, the more value. And so I'm sitting here going, I've never been involved in a blockchain project where I could actually help at all. And not only that, I could bring people in that can help maybe more than me. What a great concept. And so really what we look for are two kinds of people. One, customers. We're looking for people that are saying, hey, I'm tired of Zoom stealing my data. I'm tired of Google Meet, Microsoft. Those guys are better at mining data than Zoom is. Like, I want to own and control my data. I want to be able to make some money off my data. I want to be able to present and convert inside a platform instead of sending people through a chat every time I've got something that I want to sell somebody. So if you're sitting there going, man, this is just a better mousetrap, whoever invited you onto the webinar, they can send you a link and get you signed up as a customer. That's amazing. If you're wanting to be an owner, like if you say, well, what about, you say the community owns this, there's 3 types of voters in our community. It's kind of like 3 branches of governance. One is what's called a node owner. Remember that thing I told you about? My buddy Thomas was like, hey, you got to buy a node for Gallant Games. And I was like, what the heck's a node? We have nodes for this platform as well. They're about $7,500, maybe $7,400 each. So it's not inexpensive. It's a pricey piece of software, but it is a piece of software. It's classified as off-the-shelf software. I don't want to give tax advice, but you can connect with your CPAs, your tax attorneys. I know my team, we took a Section 179 and bonus depreciation on the Node software in 2023 when I bought it. Before I moved to Puerto Rico, I needed those write-offs, and so we were able to do it through bonus depreciation that year is what we took. And so I always tell people, get with your tax team. If you did buy a node, you may be interested in getting some tax advantages for that and lowering your tax bill because you can depreciate the software earlier. Now, the second thing you could do to get involved and have voting rights is get tokens. We have the ability, certainly, to, if you're big into crypto, go on Uniswap and see if you can buy some tokens. It's not easy. You can maybe buy $200, $300 max at a time. But if you said, I'd like to buy more than that, we have an NFT that you can actually buy. The starting one is over 20 weeks. It's $600. If you get one of the biggest ones, it's like $100,000. You can buy this NFT and it generates tokens. It's software as well. So you can actually get some tax advantages on the NFT software because it's classified as off-the-shelf software. And so just buying tokens on Uniswap, there's no real tax advantages. Buying an NFT that generates tokens for you, that can be advantageous come tax time. And we're at the end of the year, so folks a lot of times are looking for depreciating assets if they need to lower their tax bill. And again, talk with your own professionals, make sure they know, hey, tell them I just bought some off-the-shelf software. I'm interested in Section 179 and or bonus depreciation, and they'll give you feedback. And they'll know, your CPA, your tax attorneys will know exactly what Section 179 is. If they work with businesses at all, they'll know those things. The last thing we look for, and probably the most important, is community builders. So that's the third branch of governance. So you've got node owners, they get to vote and they steer the ship. You've got coin holders, every 25,000 coins in a wallet, you get voting rights. That's a third of the vote. The node owners is a third of the voting power. And then you've got the community. The community is the users and what I call the customer gatherers, the builders. So if you bring us, a company that's bringing us 1,000 customers every month, you'll get more voting rights than if I just use it myself and I got my mom to use it. And again, there's nothing wrong with me using it and getting my mom to use it, but the community will reward you more if you bring a lot more clients than I do. It just kind of makes sense. So it creates that flywheel of revenue, whereas revenue goes in, it buys the tokens come to the community, then the community says, hey, Patty brought us all those customers. Give her a chunk of those tokens. Reward her. Incentivize her to go, wow, I just got a bunch of tokens. I'm going to sell them out for some money. That was cool. I'm going to bring these guys more customers. I'm going to keep doing that behavior because they keep rewarding me. And it's an algorithm. The community voted on that reward, on that compensation. If we want to change how we get compensated, the whole community has to vote on that. If we want to change the tokenomics, the entire community has to vote on that. Now, the entire community doesn't need to vote on whether the CEO can take the chief marketing officer out to Chick-fil-A for dinner or whatever, if they're working late. We don't have to decide a full vote on that. The community votes on what we call a community council. There's 16 members on the community council. That council chooses the CEO. And when they choose the CEO runs the day-to-day operations, which that's Darren Kidd. And Darren can hire, he can bring in new people. He's got some guardrails. There's a certain amount of spending he can do. And then he's got to get approval from the community council. And if at any point the community doesn't like the way things are going, they could vote in an entire new council. and that council could fire the existing CEO and hire a new one. So the day-to-day operations run a lot like a publicly traded company. You know, the stock shareholders create their board, vote in the board hires the CEO runs the show. But at any point, if the big shareholders wanted to oust the board and bring in a new CEO, they could do that. We're not publicly traded or anything like that. We're literally a decentralized video conferencing platform. And so we are controlled by the community, and you can have voting power in one branch. If you're just a node owner, that's fine. If you're just a coin holder, you just get voting rights in the coin hodlers voting branch. And if you're a community builder, you're using and sharing the platform, you'd have voting rights in that branch of governance. If you did all three, like I do and Patty and Herb do, you get voting rights in all three, which I think is even better. Now, I can't promise, the token's going to be worth this, that, or the other. I can tell you Gala at its peak was about 87 cents per token. We're at about half a penny right now, so we got a long ways to go. But last month, we did more revenue last month than Gala Games did their first 3 years combined. We did more revenue last month than Gala Games did last month. And so I don't know what the trajectory is going to be, but I know if we continue this trajectory, it's going to be very nice. So we're looking for people that want to be a part of this community. It's free to become a part of the community. There's a link. Whoever invited you on to the meeting tonight, they can send you a link and you can click it and sign up for free and start going through our academy. You can start learning, figuring out, hey, I want to learn more about the project. I want to learn more about, how the tokens work and all that stuff. It doesn't cost anything to do that. But after you start to learn, if you start to use the platform and go, man, this is way better than Zoom. That's what I said. I canceled my Zoom account. 1, because I was going to save $3,000. 2, because it was better. I was like, even if it was a little worse, I would have done it to save $3,000. But the fact that it was better, I would have paid more. And so it's amazing the level of tools and bells and whistles compared to Zoom. And Zoom just keeps raising their price. So I appreciate each and every one of you sharing your time with us tonight to share some of our vision with each and every one of you. And if you do decide, hey, I do want to help you guys, I do want to become a part of this community, just connect with whoever invited you onto the meeting, get started with us, and I'll be one of the first to welcome you to the Arling family.